Euromaxx highlights. And here's your host, Karin Helmstedt.
Hello there, and welcome to our highlights of the past week. And here's a quick look at what made it into the mix this time around. Musical accompaniment. Mountain climbers in Italy scale the heights to the sound of music. Foosball's finest, Thomas Gaia, models his figurines after soccer's top stars. And Shadow Game, a Greek artist, presents his sculptures in a different light. And we start off in South Tyrol in northern Italy for a jazz festival with a difference. Combining sheer heights with music in the Dolomites, the Saas Launch Suite event sees lots of hair-raising activity from base jumping to slacklining, all with a sultry soundtrack of live jazz music. Well, it's one of the festival highlights where music and nature are blended for a real atmospheric thrill. And we tagged along with some extreme athletes and musicians for the day.
These musicians have spent hours climbing to accompany a slackliner as he completes his hair-raising feat of balance. A band playing on the side of the mountain is also there to motivate the climbers taking on the sheer rock face.
These good vibes kind of coming to you, and because sometimes you are getting lost in your fears, you know. And I think music, just listening music already helps you.
We're performing a very special score. This rocky landscape and the movements of the extreme climbers. Then we're playing in the middle of this incredible landscape with this wind.
The wind is one of the biggest hurdles facing Armin Holzer, one of the best slackliners in the world. 500 meters above the ground, he's struggling to balance on the thin nylon rope.
Your success depends on your mental state in the moment. It's very much a psychological thing. For me, it was great that there was the faint sound of a brass band echoing through the entire valley. It really motivated me.
No climber has ever managed to cross this overhang on the Langkoffel rock face. Today, Belgian star climber Nicolas Favres and his brother Olivier are going to attempt it, as will Sean Villanueva O'Driscoll. Their first attempt fails, and the climbers retreat to their bivouac for a musical break.
So while climbing with a lot of emotion, because maybe it's a bit dangerous, or maybe there is a part that looks very difficult, and all these emotions needs to go out of your body, and like music is like really great way of getting that emotion out.
On to the second attempt. The band accompanies the action unfolding before their eyes with an improvised piece of music.
The tension is almost unbearable, and that generates a special energy.
You are, of course, rooting for the climbers as they're trying to scale the overhang, and the music changes accordingly. It becomes urgent, because it's almost a matter of survival.
It's only a few more meters to the upper edge of the overhang. Made it.
And the tension was building, and we were getting more tired at the same time, like maybe even much more tired, and you could hear the song, the music getting even crazier, like oh. They really felt like they understood our effort.
The climbers celebrate their achievement with a tune in the middle of the rock face.
And some people were like, play on the wall while they climb. Cannot be extreme if they have the room to play music. So I think it depends. There are people that are climbing for fun and other people that climbs for other reasons. So I mean, for me, the main reason is to climb for fun.
I'd like to do this all the time. It's much more exciting than hanging around in stuffy jazz clubs. I hope something like this will happen all over the north face of Mount Eiger or in other places.
The South Tyrol Jazz Festival has experimented with a new type of event, which offers a thrilling combination of art and sport in the middle of nature.
Well, dealing with nerves is just a fact of life for Matthias Wermke and Mischa Leinkauf, and they do it all in the name of art. The duo from Germany likes to hang from bridges or scale skyscrapers to make some unusual videos with a disturbing thrill. Their stunts are, of course, all illegal, and yet they've received multiple prizes for the poetic quality in their work. And you can now see it on display in the Sen Gallery in the Austrian capital. And so we tracked them down to learn a bit more about their artistic process.
An excerpt from a video by artists Matthias Wermke and Mischa Leinkauf. One is the subject, and the other is the cameraman. The duo are not afraid to take risks or break the law to create their stunning shots. They'll go to almost any height in the name of art. But the stunts are not as reckless as they look. They prepare their performances long in advance and calculate the risks involved.
There are no safety nets in life. Our works are like feedback to real life. Sometimes we don't know what'll happen. There may appear to be an element of safety where there is none.
It's not about making it look dangerous. It's about seeing and feeling what we expose ourselves to, and there are no limits for us.
They discovered this World War II flak tower in a park in Vienna while preparing for an exhibition in the city. The site is off limits to the public and largely forgotten. The artists managed to gain access and add the tower to their guerrilla performances in urban public spaces.
There are lots of places that aren't normally very interesting if you're just walking past them, but if you stop and look closely, you'll find lots of interesting aspects.
To us as artists, it's important to see the playful aspect and what kind of potential this place might have aside from its intended function.
They presented the results in a video. It was featured at their first exhibition in Vienna. Also on display, a photo of the tower, complete with the banner they attached to it. Many of the duo's works are dangerous and illegal, but to the gallery goers, the Daredevil aspect is not the essential point.
It's about the conquest of the architecture, something I see only at second or third glance. Hey, wait, there's something crawling on it. Oh, that's a person. He's taking possession in a very tactile way, which we're not able to do because we can only experience it visually. It's exciting.
From scaling smokestacks in Prague to climbing skyscrapers in Tokyo, the performer's body always becomes a graphic element in the image, a symbol in the cityscape. The compositions are carefully thought through. The danger seems to be of secondary importance.
When I do this, I'm very conscious of the moment. And as I get older, I enjoy these moments more and more when I manage to make a dream reality. And to do the things that, up to then, I'd only envisioned.
The films have a poetic, serene quality, with the danger barely perceptible. This conflict is what makes the art of Matthias Wermke and Mischa Leinkauf so powerful, and what has already earned them several awards. The question now is how far this risky road will take them.
We've reached a point where things are starting to change. We're trying to reduce the images to the essential, and we've realized that the risk aspect is getting in the way. That many viewers just can't see past the danger and appreciate the imagery for what it is. So we're looking for some way to reduce that aspect.
Whichever way their art goes from here, the duo's daring exploits are not over yet.
Exciting stuff. Well, now it's over to Poland for a tour of the region around the southern cities of Opole and Nysa. Both places date back to the Middle Ages, and they're a treasure trove for tourists on the lookout for beautiful scenery and, of course, for some hearty Polish cuisine. So let's see what else it's famous for.
Opole in Poland. The city has around 120,000 residents and is the historical capital of Upper Silesia. The marketplace and the PS Tower are its landmarks. The marketplace is lined with Baroque town houses. They were rebuilt after World War II. The surrounding countryside is also a fascinating place to visit.
The region around Opole has the largest number of castles and palaces in all of Poland. Opole is not only the capital of the Opole province, it is also famous as the capital of Polish song.
Thanks to television, every Pole is familiar with the sights of the PS Tower and the amphitheatre. The National Festival of Polish Song is held here each summer. Many famous singers began their careers in Opole.
It's our country's most important festival. In 2013, we celebrated its 50th anniversary with a big gala. More than 6 million viewers watch us on television. It's a tradition to watch the festival together.
Opole province is also famous for its porcelain. In downtown Opole, you can find the typical flower-patterned ceramics in every imaginable form. Opole exports porcelain to many countries, especially to the Far East. It's all produced by hand.
Every porcelain painter has his own particular style. It's a kind of handwriting.
Half an hour from Opole, tourists encounter an unusual construction. Mosna Castle, which dates back to the 17th century, was once the home of a wealthy aristocratic family. Then it served for decades as a psychiatric hospital. Now it's open to tourists.
Many people call the castle the Polish Disneyland. Okay, that may sound a bit kitschy, but we like and accept this description.
Right beside the castle, active vacationers can go riding for about €13 an hour.
It's a great region for riding, lots of nature.
I like the stud farm. The atmosphere here is great. The horses are wonderful and the palace and surroundings are beautiful.
Nysa, the province's second largest city, lies to the south, only about 20 kilometers away from the Czech border. It has had a colorful history, owned at various times by Poland and Germany. Even the French were here in 1806. The St. Jacob and Agnes Church is Nysa's greatest site. Built in the early 15th century, it was later renovated in the neo-Gothic style.
Nysa was once called the Rome of Silesia. Today we can call it the Rome of tourists, because everyone finds something to his taste here, in the residence of the bishops.
The last stop on our tour is Mount St. Anne, to the east of Opole and Nisa. Surrounded by nature, it's primarily a religious site. St. Anne's Cathedral is home to a Franciscan order. On important holidays, the mountain becomes a place of pilgrimage.
But the mountain has other important aspects. It has geological formations and flora and fauna not found anywhere else.
We let our day on Mount St. Anne come to a close with a typical Silesian meal. Beef with Silesian potato dumplings. Typical is the little hollow in the potato dough. It keeps the sauce in the dumplings. In the Alva restaurant, the servers still wear traditional Silesian dress. Bon appetit!
Well, Thomas Geier had long cherished the dream of becoming a professional football player, but injury prevented him from making that a reality. And so he recycled his passion into a profession, and now he can still kick around with his favorite players, whatever the weather. Geier is a foosball, or a kicker table designer, and he crafts all of his player figurines by hand. Well, that means they are each mini works of art in themselves, and so our reporter took a closer look.
Soccer stars from the past and present. Günther Netzer, Semi Khedira, Rudi Völler and Paul Breitner. But Thomas Geier's growing squad of handcrafted figurines is far from an all-German affair. He's an artist who began making his own table football players in 2009.
I was a soccer player myself, and I wanted to pay tribute to these greats of the game like Zidane and Maradona, a tribute to their God-given mastery of the game.
He was, as ever, careful to give Arsenal and Germany forward Lukas Podolski the right hair color. And finally, one last finishing touch.
Now the beauty mark. Let's see how it looks.
Pretty authentic. Soccer is a family affair for Thomas, with him and his brother trophy-winning players in their teens. He built his first foosball table for his younger sibling's 25th birthday. Thomas assembles his tables by hand and needs about a week to fashion each figure. His personally selected teams include stars from different countries and generations. The tables are works of art, hands-on and interactive.
I like the look, especially the pitch. It's different from your regular foosball with just a plain green board.
Sure, you can get different club kits for regular makes, but this is something else.
The history of table football goes back to the late 19th century. The first patented model appeared in 1922. Where else but in England, the birthplace of soccer. Today, the table football industry includes luxury models made out of mahogany and can cost up to 40,000 euros. The figures are eerily realistic, thanks to 3D printing. Thomas Geier's first figures were built up with countless layers of paint. He now uses a 3D printer for the basic forms, which he then customizes. His international squad now boasts around 100 players.
I gave Mats Hummels a figure of himself that he keeps in a cupboard. Thomas Müller reckoned his portrayal was a bit unfortunate, although I said it wasn't my fault. Yogi liked the figures, and Philipp Lahm had good things to say about him.
Even the balls are based on the originals. That means also creating a faithful rendition of the current official World Cup edition. Thomas Geier's miniature maestros have made it to a very prominent stage, the German Foreign Ministry in Berlin.
The model featured in an exhibition includes a vintage-style ball made of leather. Soccer is often touted, especially in diplomatic circles, as a great tool of cultural exchange.
It's a multicultural foosball table. It connects different nations. Here it's not a question of one team against another. Instead, we have teams comprised of all nations just having fun together.
And enjoying the beautiful game is ultimately the point, on the table or on the pitch, and wherever you are in the world.
Well, he's a former welder turned artist and sculptor, and his work only comes into its own when the light is just right. Now that's because Theodosios Sektio Aurea of Greece has discovered his talent for shadow sculpting. Just 18 months ago, he started building wire and metal sculptures, and from the right angle with the right light, his pieces can create some really unexpected shapes as part of the effect. So we paid him a visit in Athens to find out more.
Shadow art brings hidden forms into view. What initially looks like a tree changes its appearance depending on where the light comes from. The man creating these works is Theodosios Sektio Aurea. He originally trained as a welder. Today, he creates sculptures from metal. Behind each of them is a second work of art, its shadow.
Shadows are everywhere, but normally we hardly notice them. I'm very conscious of them and see them all over the place. That way, I see things that are hidden in the object. It's like the two sides of a coin. The world of shadows is a completely different world. It has no limits, and it has its own beauty.
Each of Aurea's artworks begins with a pencil and paper. He draws the future form of the shadow and fixes it to the wall. Then, in semi-darkness, he uses a small lamp to construct the sculpture so that it casts the desired shadow.
First, I think about the outline. It always begins with the idea for a sculpture. Then I consider the parts I need to form it. I like to work with metal because it has something enduring about it. My aim is to create something unique that will last forever.
The metal sculptures are works of art in their own right. Here, Aurea has created a three-dimensional work that casts a shadow like Pablo Picasso's painting Guernica. The original was a political protest against the bombing of the city of Guernica during Spain's Civil War.
Guernica is painted in black, white, and gray. My work with light and shadow reflects that. It's an homage to Pablo Picasso. In contemporary art, you see so many installations, video art, performance art. I prefer the brilliant craftsmanship of the great masters.
A sculpture with 350 metal spheres, reminiscent of human DNA, casts the shadow of the Vitruvian Man, the iconic study of human proportions. Leonardo da Vinci's version is the most famous. The artist takes inspiration from Da Vinci, Michelangelo, Picasso, and Dali. His works sell for several thousand euros. His next shadow project involves figures from Greek mythology. His home city, Athens, provides plenty of ideas.
The noise, the beautiful women, the archaeology. The whole city is inspiring. We have difficult times just now, but for me the crisis is also motivating. I try to find the positive side in it. It gave me the impetus for a new beginning.
Theodosios Sektio Aurea, an artist who has discovered the beauty in the dark side of things.
And don't forget to visit our website if perhaps you'd like to see some of those reports again. Just go to dw.de/English/Euromaxx and happy viewing. Well, with that, it is time for us to sign off. So until we meet again, all the best from us here in Berlin, right in front of the Brandenburg Gate. Tschüss und auf Wiedersehen. Bis zum nächsten Mal.